Welcome to Bubby Brister's Fantasy Football Podcast, presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Bubby is Christmas shopping, so I'm joined by Nick again this week. Nick, the results are in. The league has concluded its 18th regular season this week. You ready to break it down?
Yeah, let's break it down. Last regular season game. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get mine out of the way. This shouldn't take long because New Day Co-op just mopped me 150 to 150 to 67. I finished 5-9. Slade finishes 7-7. Another Fieldsian performance from Jaden Daniels. 3 points. He is a concern now.
It's a big concern because he just can't stay healthy, and I didn't picture the Commanders getting rolled over, 31-0. I'm concerned about the head coach now.
Yeah, the Vikings shutout of the Commanders is the first time since 1992 that a team pitched a shutout 1 week after suffering one.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, there's holes all of a sudden all through the Commanders. One is at tight end. Zach Ertz had one catch for 1 yard, and he lost his kneecap.
Yeah, you saw his career. That was it. That's it. He was already hinting at like he wanted to leave it on the field this year and do his best. Yeah, that's a terrible hit, and it sucks.
Yeah, his career flashed before his eyes while he was on that cart. You saw him have to hold a towel over his head. He had a nice season, though. He finished as the 11th ranked tight end. He seemed to always be around when someone needed him to fill in our league this year. But yeah, he's done. I started Darren Waller. He had one catch for 13 yards.
That was an interesting start. That was a very interesting move. But I mean, I guess based on what you had left, I mean, I guess it was the move.
Yeah, week 14 is a bad week for bye weeks. So I couldn't play Dottle and I couldn't play Diggs.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this like super late bye week that NFL's doing. You know, bye week should technically be done before Thanksgiving. Like this idea of just trying to after everybody plays on Thanksgiving week, and then somebody takes a break the next following week. That sucks.
Yeah, there has to be a better way. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a nice game. A.J. Brown had a nice game. Woody Marks had a nice game, but we don't need to talk about my team anymore.
St. Brown had a good game, and he was actually like last-minute starter, too. He was injured, and, they just came out like he's active. You're like, what? After he was hurt the previous week, and he played well. So, I mean, that would have been something. You had an interesting move. You started Falcons defense. What made you do that?
I don't remember the defense I had before them, but I don't know. I'm speechless. My season has left me speechless. Like, looking at my team, I still like my team. I don't know if I'm delusional or what, because a game like this is like a slap to reality. I mean, I got a 0 from my kicker. Without Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would have been even worse.
Yes. Yeah, it would have been way worse. That's what's crazy. I'm just looking like, man, you got hit with a bad bye this week with like Diggs, and Lamar Jackson finally had a decent game on your bench. It's just recipe for disaster.
That was all late for Lamar too, though. He was looking pretty rough for the first like 2.5 quarters. But yeah, Slade here deserves all the credit. Double-digit points from everybody except for the kicker and the losing head coach.
Yeah, Slade's playing playoff football right now. This is playoff football right here.
He started Luther Burden. He even got 10 points from him.
I know, right? I mean, someone got to do something, because if you look at Rome Meduje with 0 catches and 0 yards, you're just like, what happened?
Oh, he didn't even play.
He didn't play? Wow. Okay. That's something. Even Zay Flowers had a little return back game. 8 catches for 124. Really solid. CeeDee Lamb, 6 catches for 121. He was cooking, and then he got concussed. So that'd be a thing to watch out for there next week when Slade's in the playoffs.
Yeah, that'd be tough if he missed the game. Thankfully for CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys and his fantasy managers that they played on Thursday, so he'll have an extra like 4 days to get through the protocol.
Yeah. Chase Brown, another solid week, even in the snow. 23 yards rushing, but 2 total touchdowns is solid. And Kyron Williams continues to just churn out the yards and touchdowns. It's very consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. He should have been drafted higher. Kyle Pitts, Kirk Cousins is the answer for him. 30 points the last 2 weeks from Pitts, 13 catches, 18 targets, 172 yards. Still can't get in the end zone, though. He hasn't gotten in the end zone since week 4.
Yeah, Drake London's been hurt, so that's definitely helping his stock as well.
Trevor Lawrence, he was on his bench with 25 points. This is his 3rd straight game with multiple touchdowns. The Jags win their 4th in a row. They won 4 games all of last season. So I'm asking you, if you're Slade, do you start Dak versus Minnesota or Trevor Lawrence versus the Jets in the playoffs next week?
Ooh, you might have to do Trevor Lawrence against the Jets. Because, I mean, Dak will probably give you 2 touchdowns. You know what I mean? I just wondering, he might get, well, hell, he might give you 1 touchdown. I don't know. I don't trust that Minnesota defense because it might be a low-scoring game. You know, Jacksonville against the Jets, they're free-falling now. Tyrod's hurt. They've lost all hope for this season. They just want to get out of the game, not injured. So I have faith. I have more faith that Jacksonville will score points and get Dallas's.
Yeah, this is a tough call. Do you dance with the one you brought, or do you like Trevor Lawrence isn't exactly a desperation dart either. Like he's the 13th ranked QB. I don't know. You just think like is Trevor Lawrence's ceiling is that Dak's floor, but Minnesota has a sneaky good defense still.
Yeah, true. You know, and speaking of sneaky defenses, the Texans have been on fire defensive wise. Actually pushed a clinic against the Chiefs. 3 interceptions, only allowed 10 points. And he has Chargers defense on the bench that had 4 interceptions against the Eagles. So he got some pretty good defenses going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Texans are the number 2 ranked defense. They have the Cardinals next week. They can score a little bit. And then the Chargers have the Kansas City on the road. So I don't know. I think you got to play the Texans.
Yeah, you play Texans, yeah.
I notice he does that, though, from us doing the podcast, is he carries 2 defenses a lot and picks and plays the matchups.
Yeah. He started the Colts head coach, too, which is interesting. I wonder he's going to probably drop the head coach right there because with possible Rivers, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, that is wild. Phillip Rivers coming out. He is delusional. It's a fun story, but, like, dude, you're a grandpa.
Isn't Phillip Rivers in our Fantasy Hall of Fame?
He is. Fantasy Hall of Famer Phillip Rivers.
Coming out, man. Coming back out the field, man. If that man goes out there and wins a playoff game, I'm be so excited for him.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
For us 40-year-old guys, we're excited to see somebody, one of us come out there playing football. He's one of us now.
Yeah, this is it's desperate and delusional, but it's not their worst option, which is funny.
What's really funny is I saw a quote because Cam Newton has his podcast and he's like, I take a slap in the face. The Colts didn't call me. How come they didn't call me? I could still play football. No one wants you, Cam. No one wants you, Cam. No. You're delusional.
Cam was broken. Phillip Rivers, I was thinking of this because he didn't have to rely on a fastball he can probably still throw the ball pretty good at 44 where he didn't lose velocity, and he's not going to lose his legs because he never had him to begin with.
Phillip Rivers is strange because his throw mechanics has been different. It's always been different. Like he kind of just knuckleballs the ball down the field, and it's a perfect spiral every time. I mean, he's never had, I don't remember him having an arm problem, like an arm surgery or anything. He's always had it. That's that case of once you have it, you always have it, and that's him.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, but for his age, I think if there's a style play that could pull it off, it's him. I wouldn't bet on it, though.
I won't bet on it, but it'd be fun to watch. Yeah.
Next up, Renegades of Funk versus Smash Hawk. This was a close game, 131. DeMoss wins. Doesn't help him get in the playoffs, though. He finishes on a 2-game winning streak. What do you see other than Fieldsian performance from Tyrod Taylor? A -2.
Fieldsian, this is next level. This is Tyrod Taylor level like bad. This is bad. -2 from your quarterback is just. I've never seen such low scores for quarterbacks ever in our fantasy league.
I was going to say this too. They always had a floor, and that's kind of why I want to put Eli Manning in our Fantasy Hall of Fame now, because you could always count on him to get you like 18 points every week. Like, the bottom has fallen out on quarterbacks.
Dude, these scores like 7 points, 6 points, 5 points, -2. You had 6 yards and an interception. What the fuck?
I'm directly out of the playoffs because of 4 bad quarterback games.
Yeah, I would say I'm out of the playoffs because part of it's my quarterback. I had Stroud beginning of the year, so I had Stroud and it just wasn't working for me with Stroud. I had Brock Purdy who was hurt, so it was a bad time there.
Path to victory if he had played the Jags defense over the Chiefs, who got 14 compared to the Chiefs 7. If he had played Blake Corum over Monogamy, I guess you're not going to bench Bijan. Devin Neal was a good dart. He scored a touchdown, got 21 points. He got the 20-point kicker on Monday night to almost sneak this victory through.
Crazy. 20 points from a kicker. In back-to-back weeks, we've seen back like 20-point kickers. We had the Bengals kicker had 24 the other week, and now this guy hits 20. Dicker, the kicker himself. Trey McBride had a quiet game, 10 points, 5 or 58. It's pretty quiet for him, but he continued a streak of at least 5 catches.
And Michael Wilson, oh my God, he did it again.
Yes, that's what he does. That's who he is. Like he is. You understand that Michael Wilson and Brissett is making the front office and the Cardinals blow this team up because they're like, why? Why do we need the short guy who plays quarterback want to play Call of Duty all the time? And why do we need Harrison who has mental issues apparently and struggling to catch the ball? You know what? Let's just we can be good. We can be good. We just got to have the right pieces.
Yeah, that is wild. Interesting play with John Mechie II.
Very interesting play. But I mean, based off his bench, he didn't really have much better. But I mean, starting him was a very interesting play.
Yeah, McMillan had the bye, so that's tough. And then Jaden Reed, I understand not trusting him yet. He did get 9 points, though.
I don't know. There's got to be a better waiver pickup than that.
Bijan finishes the season as the 5th-ranked running back. Atlanta is officially in year 8 of their 5-year plan, as they were eliminated from playoff contention with their 8th straight losing season.
Yeah, and their first-round draft pick goes to the Rams. So we'll see where this Atlanta Falcons future looks like, because it's not the first round next year. They'll be looking for another head coach next year. The Renegades of Funk, though, Bo Nix gave them a pretty decent effort with 21 points. Jonathan Taylor with 19 points, 74 yards rushing. He had a touchdown, but he also fumbled. Swift continues to be the two-headed monster with monogamy here with 14 points, 63 yards rushing. I mean, the Bears are making it work. They're getting well over 140 yards rushing now on that team. And 2 things to highlight is Devontae Adams there, 4 for 29. I mean, the game was out of reach, so it just, the Rams was blowing out the Cardinals, so it didn't matter. And then George Pickens, 5 for 37. And your Pickens owner, I'm concerned based off that performance last week. He just didn't he seemed very disengaged.
Yeah, Steelers fans have seen this version of Pickens before. I don't know. I wouldn't be concerned yet. If it happens in the playoffs this week, then I would be concerned. But that's funny. Mechie almost outscored Pickens, and he did outscore Devontae Adams.
Which is crazy. In some worlds it shouldn't happen like that, but it did. It did. TJ Hawkinson found the end zone for 2 for 12 yards. He fell in the end zone. You know, he was excited. Etienne, 74 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. And base special teams came with the rear with just 27 points. So pretty solid there. His bench even did something. Brian Thomas is he's a rudderless boat, man. 3 for 87, 11 points. It's just, this isn't the Brian Thomas of last year.
No, he made an incredible catch though. Vidal had 15 points, and that was with Hampton returning.
Yeah, that is true. It's true.
But you see anything else here?
Not really. Vidal continues to be serviceable with the Chargers, so that's interesting there. And Brissett continues his streak of points there, 27 points there, pretty solid there. He started the Bucks defense over the Bills defense. It didn't really matter. But yeah, solid win for Renegade. It didn't matter. And Smash Hawk on a 1-game lose streak at 7-7.
Next up is the really tight game, 158 to 157. Punishers pulled off the win, third win in a row. Spawn loses his second game in a row. They both are going to the playoffs next week. Tua only 13 points, another low quarterback total. That there was a path to victory there with a different quarterback, but he had to play Tua because Drake May was on a bye.
I don't know if I would trust Tua, man. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to trust because his explosion games are really good, but his floor, like you said earlier, is really low. It's not even like 15 to 18; it's 13 to 10. So it's sucks.
Tua hasn't scored over 17 points in 5 games. Yeah, 8, 6, and 13 coming into this game. But I guess he saw that Jets matchup and found it juicy.
A lot of hope. That was some hopium right there. I don't know about that one, man. Josh Jacobs, 86 yards rushing with a touchdown, 24 points. Really solid. That's what you won't want from your first round draft pick running back getting it done. Jay Williams for the Cowboys, 6-7 yards rushing with a touchdown as well, 20 points. He continues to be very consistent, Kyron Williams esque type of running back there. And Smith and Jigma came back to life again with 7 catches for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he finishes the regular season as the number 1 ranked receiver. Javonte Williams finishes the regular season as the 7th ranked running back. And then Harold Fannin blew up. 8 catches, 114 and a touchdown, 25 points with Shador at quarterback. That's very fun.
It's very fun, but it's also the Tennessee Titans. So you got to temper expectations a little bit there, but it was fun because it's like you're seeing Fannin Jr. has potential to be like continue this going on. As long as he gets targets, he can make those catches. Jacoby Myers, though, 4 catches, 39 yards, and another touchdown.
Fannin finishes the season as a 6th ranked tight end. He could be someone to look out for in drafts next season, especially if Njoku is gone. But yeah, I like Rob's team going into the playoffs here. It seems like he's hitting on all cylinders, even though he lost this game.
Yeah, Christian Watson had a deep catch, whatever, and had 2 touchdowns. I mean, 24 points for Christian Watson. You know, you can't ask for anything better than that for a guy that pretty much missed majority of our season and just got slotted in the Packers offense and starts producing like that. You got happy with that. And he survived actually fantasy special teams that only gave him 10 points.
No, he didn't survive.
Oh yeah, he lost by 1 point. Yeah, that's yeah. Tampa choked it for him there.
Yeah, that loss to the Saints took this win away from him. Christian Watson, for fantasy purposes, he reminds me of Deshaun Jackson.
Okay, I can see it. Just big boom.
Just capable of a home run at any time.
Yeah. And Tampa Bay Punishers, Matthew Stafford continues rolling along, 281, 3 touchdowns. Yep, that's what he does. Derrick Henry, 94 yards rushing. The King, I don't think he's lost a step. I think it's just the Ravens is the problem. He's not the problem yet. The Ravens are the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's hurt, and I'm like I said, I'm a die on this hill that they should not let Lamar Jackson play. They should have ran his backup. I forgot his name.
Oh, Huntley.
Yeah, they should have ran Huntley, and the offense would be way different because Huntley proved he could do before. So I don't know what's the difference now that all of a sudden he can't do it. Like same offense, guys. Like let Huntley just do it and let Lamar get fully healthy. Lamar doesn't want to run. He's no threat to run. He's getting sacked a lot. That's what's really weird. You know, I mean, he don't ever get sacked, so I don't go on my Lamar Jackson tangents.
His
Angry.
career is going to end like Iverson's, though. That when he loses that 2 steps he has over everybody, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, when the competition's now evened up on you, and now you have to use your skill, not just talent and athleticism, it's gonna it's gonna catch up quick.
Yeah, it's the Tyreek Hill situation.
When you talk about quarterbacks, when I think of quarterback comparisons, it'd be like the semi Michael Vick. Michael Vick had to step on everybody, and then he slowed down. He tried to use skill, but the skill, it wasn't enough skill. For people like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, you know, what I mean, those guys, they have enough skill, not enough talent to get longevity out of their careers.
Well, you can have longevity and you can be serviceable, but you'll no longer be elite.
Right. So, yeah, that's true. I can see that.
But yeah, Jalen Waddle, touchdown, 5 catches, 50 yards in that blowout of the Jets. Jaden Hickens only had 6. Colby Parkinson of the Rams, so he had that Stafford to Parkinson stack everybody's been talking about all year.
Yeah, that didn't work out for him this week. it didn't work out.
No, that's not a real stack. I made that up. He has had double-digit points 3 of the last 5 weeks, though. He's only owned in 8% of leagues. It'd be interesting to see if he starts in the playoffs for Punishers next week.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see that.
He didn't have Hunter Henry, who was on a bye. He didn't have Wandell, who was on a bye, and then Drake London was injured. Drake London probably is going to miss the rest of the season, I would think.
Yeah, for Drake London, if I'm him, I just want him because, like, why bother? Why bother playing?
Yeah, they're already eliminated.
Yeah, we're already eliminated, dude. Just don't get hurt. Just take it easy. Don't even worry about it. It's the coach is out of here. Don't even worry about it anymore. It's over, man.
Good fantasy special teams with 44 compared to the 10 that Spawn had. I got one more note on Stafford, then I'm done with this game. This was the first game in Rams history with 3 TDs each running and passing. Remember, this is a franchise that had the greatest show on turf.
Yes. So I mean, it's interesting because are they better than the greatest show on turf? I don't think so. But this team, they could score on you. Like, they could demoralize you because they could beat your head in with the run, and they could score really fast with the pass.
Yeah, Stafford finishes the regular season as the number 2 ranked fantasy quarterback. That's insane.
Yeah. Another thing I point out is Chris Godwin, 555. I mean, he's slowly getting back to what he was. So we'll see what it looks like for next year for him.
Yeah, double-digit points the last 2 weeks. I imagine he'll be making a playoff start. I would start him over Higgins. Would you?
Oh yes, yeah, because he's gonna get targets easy over Higgins. Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably go Waddle, Wandell, and Godwin as my playoff pass catchers.
I'll roll the dice with that. Yeah, Spears could stay on the bench. He ain't getting no chance. And you start Hunter Henry.
Because remember, we questioned his RB2 situation, and Mason came through with 15 points and a touchdown. But that might not be easy to replicate.
Yeah, Jordan Mason has been kind of wrestling this RB2 spot, you know, and with I forgot the other guy's name, but he hasn't really shown the brick away too well, and Jordan Mason is showing value, so why not hope they keep the hot hand going. But a good win for the Punishers there. That's 3 in a row for him. You know, that kept him in the playoff hunt, kept him in the field to make the playoffs there for him. And Spawn there on a 2-game lose streak kind of slipped in the playoffs. He's backing himself into the playoffs.
Yeah, one team limping in and one team is going in strong. This takes us to Mile High Salute versus Jones. Jones loses his 4th in a row to finish 5-9. Brandon
Ugh.
gets to 8-6 with his second win in a row, and this was just an ass beating on the level that I suffered, 174-75.
I feel bad for Jones, man. 4 in a row. At one time your team was 5-5, and then you just lost out. You was in the playoffs, and then you just fell out. Aaron Jones Sr., that's the other running back I'm thinking of there. He has 76 yards rushing. So that running back situation in Minnesota cannot be trusted looking at this because against Washington, they did shut him out. I mean, quarterback 9 hasn't proved anything to me, so I can't feel good about him. Um, Stroud continues his slumping, crappy play, I guess, with 200 yards and a touchdown. It's 17 points, though, but it's just not Stroud of rookie year. Stroud of rookie year was putting up some stats.
Yeah, it's just a meandering fantasy performance from him this year. It's going to be tough to draft him confidently in next year's drafts. Judkins only got 26 rushing yards on 14 carries in a game where the Browns were playing catch up against the Titans that led to Shador throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they were playing from behind, and Judkins didn't have a lot of opportunities, and he messed up the 2-point conversion. He was on the field.
Yeah, on the Wildcat.
On the Wildcat, he didn't pitch the ball. He kept trying to run with it. It was like, what are you doing? I guess what happens when you have a team full of rookies out there trying to play. Ladd McConkey continues to fall down into the gravel with 1 catch for 12 yards.
Ugh. 5 targets, so like opportunities were there. Mark Andrews, I never want to see this guy again. I cannot believe the Ravens gave him a 3-year extension.
Contract. Oh man, I don't understand it either. Like he has to have dirt on somebody in management, upper management, to get this contract because it's just what is happening, and you're gonna let Lively leave, the younger tight end that's more athletic, leave. You're gonna let him leave.
It's apparent to everybody who watches any Ravens games that Andrews just can't move anymore.
Right. Lively's going to be a Commander next year.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, right. Terry McLaurin, 3 catches for 41 yards. He had to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Genty, 30 yards rushing against Denver's vaunted defense. Denver Broncos is just a scary team. If your fantasy player goes against Denver, I just don't like the matchup at all. Like they get after quarterback, they beat people up. Just you have to survive Bo Nix and his average play.
I don't see anything here for Jones other than Keon Coleman was allowed to play the game on his bench.
Yeah, he had CK. He had DK on his bench there with 13 points there on some 5 catches for 24, and he found the end zone once again.
So Brandon got the 40 high fives with the 174. He got 36 from Burrow. Both of Burrow's interceptions came in the fourth quarter. Barkley had a vintage Barkley-like fantasy game with
Barkley. Let's be honest. Barkley has that 122, but 50 of that is on a trick play on that fake tush push, and he ran out. He was wide open, just running down the field. So if he'd have that, the score would have been a little less, but the high fives would have been in jeopardy there. Not the win though.
So he has this Burrow to Higgins connection working. They combined for 53 points in this game, but how concerned are we about Higgins' injury? He had a concussion.
Yes, very concerned. It would be interesting to see what Thursday's injury report says for him, because you want to see your person clearing up and practicing, and if he's not practicing Thursday, then that's a thing to worry about, especially in the first week of the playoffs.
Yeah, if Higgins can't go, he's playing Jordan Addison as his wide receiver.
I'd rather play Kevin Booty.
Yeah, there's no good option there. Maybe you can get John Mechie off the waiver wire.
Maybe. RJ Harvey, though, 75 yards rushing and a touchdown. 27 points.
I'm patting myself on the back here. I this is why I wanted him in that trade. It just took too long to happen, but Brandon got him in a trade from me. He fleeced me. I took Cooper Kupp.
Oh no. He started Ravens defense. That's the only head scratcher right there for me. I don't know what he saw in that matchup that said, I'm going to start the Ravens defense against Pittsburgh. And in fact, they played Cincinnati the previous week and got 0 points. So I don't know.
Yeah, -1 in 2 weeks is tough stuff. They are the 23rd ranked defense. It's not very Raven like, but yeah, good win for Mile High Salute.
They play Cincinnati this week, so it's like you going back to 0 again. Like this is what we're doing. I don't know.
Next up, Stealing the Wins versus Dead Money. This game was pretty pointless. They both finished 5-9. Dead Money wins 131-95. Fieldian performance from Daniel Jones.
He got hurt, so we're gonna give a pass on that. Injury reserve. Yeah, we'll let it go.
Do you think the Colts extend him after this season?
The Colts will probably franchise tag him just to see if like is it a fluke or not. But it's gonna be weird because if he really messes his leg up like it is, he won't be ready to play till like October or November next year. He's gonna start on the IR.
I think you got to give him a 2-year contract, and then because the franchise tag really doesn't do anything for you. So 2 years, one for rehab, and then maybe you draft someone next year, and then they can duke it out in 2020.
Do you try to do like a 2-year? Do you try to do a 2-year contract where next year's contract you kind of like you backload his contract per se? You backload it. You just make it like this year coming up, we're gonna pay you like 20 million or like 15 million, and then next year we'll pay you 45 just to like make the numbers work. They make the numbers look good, whatever. But hey, you get your signing bonus, and we'll pay you a little bit. You'll count less to our cap next year because you're not going to be playing, and then pretty much, and then next year after, we're going to be looking for you to play, and that'll be your real franchise tag year for you.
Yeah, that way you don't get caught with your pants down the way the Vikings did this season.
The Vikings just, man. Oh, man.
But Pollard had his best game of the year, 38 points, 161, and 2 touchdowns.
Head and shoulders best game of the year. He was running all over the Cleveland defense, which was crazy because Cleveland defense is like good. So it's, the Cleveland defense couldn't get after them at all. Tennessee did everything they wanted to. Stars lined up for him that game. Kenneth Gainwell had 15 yards and a touchdown. Okay. Jamar Chase kind of came down to earth. He's been coming down to earth the last couple of weeks. 5 for 44. He hasn't had like these huge explosion games like he's had like at the beginning of the season, like mid-season. He's just been very pedestrian.
Yeah, remember he was a target freak.
Within like week 6, 7, 8, he had like close to 50 targets. He had close to 60 targets, damn near. I don't understand where the last 2 weeks he's had 24 targets, and you're kind of like, what are we doing? 24 targets and 12 catches, so he's 50%. He's a volume catcher, like I said. DJ Moore, 1 catch for -4 yards.
He's one of the worst players in fantasy football this year, hands down.
He had Caleb Williams on his bench, 21 points. He didn't trust Caleb against Green Bay. So that was a play there. His fantasy special teams came alive there for him with a good 48 points. Can't go wrong with that. 24 points from Dolphins defense. Your kicker gives you 14 points too. Sitting good.
Yeah, he got to play Omari and Hampton for the first time since week 5, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Omari Hampton shows he could do it. Just he's been hurt all year, so it just like I said, what's common denominator for all teams are last place. Injuries have plagued us. Poor quarterback play and injuries. We're stealing the wins. He started Sam. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say to piggyback on what you just said about injuries taking teams down. When we do the standings later, we're gonna see points against is a huge factor in all the teams that went to the playoffs.
Stealing the wins,
but.
Yeah, he started Sam Darnold and 31 points from Sam Darnold in that blowout effort. I guess Sam Darnold made sure to get points this week because after the blowout effort last week, he didn't do anything. So this week he's like, I'm gonna do something, I guess.
Yeah, he essentially had a third of Art's points here. Justin Jefferson, just another disaster.
Man, that's tough. I don't even know what
That
to
is
say.
tough. Pittman had 16 with Riley Leonard throwing the ball most of that game.
Yeah. Chris Olave, 3 for 30. He didn't do much either in that rain-soaked day in Tampa.
It's a good thing he didn't need a win here because he didn't have George Kittle or Travion Henderson. Henderson had been a monster the last 6 weeks or so, but yeah.
Rashid Shaheed had 16 points. He had a kick return for a touchdown, and we didn't even mention Travis Kelce with 1 catch for 8 yards. It's this man, as they said, he's officially cooked. Man,
Hang it up, buddy.
it's a wrap.
Go back to your podcast.
Go hang out with Taylor Swift.
All right, we got 2 games left. Sweetness 34 versus Buck What You Think. This game had playoff implications. Heater needed to win, and he needed some help. He got no help from anybody this week.
None.
So he missed the playoffs despite being in like first place as of like week 6, but he beat you 136-95. What happened? That's with Nick Chubb getting a 0.
Yeah, Nick Chubb got 0, but Gibbs carried all the weight there for 40 points. He was actual vulture on touchdowns last Thursday. So it made the big difference there. Jared Goff, 300 yards and a touchdown, continuous streak of at least a touchdown a game. DK Metcalf had a very solid game for him. 21 points, 7 for 148. 148 is a season high right there, and he hasn't had over 100 yards receiving really until since week 4.
Yeah, I forgot he could do that.
I mean, the man could run. So your boy Cooper Kupp here, 2 for 35 and a touchdown for 11 points. Ferguson, 5 for 58. It's got to be studied, man. I don't know what they do in the Ferguson, because Ferguson's a very productive tight end. Jake Ferguson, second ranked tight end. He hasn't been really doing that much in the last like couple of weeks. A lot of his damage was at the beginning of the season.
Keenan Allen was a fun story at the beginning of the season, but he hasn't had double-digit points since week 7. He's not been good for 2 months now.
That is true. His kicker, Elliott, got him 16 points. The head scratcher here is that he could have really like threatened like the high fives, get some money in his pocket here by starting the Vikings defense against the Commanders and Josh Allen. Like, we've seen him sit Josh Allen a couple of times now, so I'm confused.
Yeah, I get the theory of playing Goff against the Cowboys, but not over Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen needs to be a must start every week.
Every week, and my man exploded for 48 points. Vikings defense over the Colts defense against a red hot Jacksonville team. I don't know.
I mean, Allen's literally the number 1 ranked quarterback, and he hasn't played him in like 3 or 4 weeks.
He's just on strike. That's just hilarious.
Is he point shaving? Like, what is happening here?
It's got to be something, because I'm like, I'm confused. Like, you have Josh Allen, and like, how many people start Josh Allen?
There's field team performances up and down these box scores every week, and he's leaving the number 1 ranked quarterback on his bench for multiple weeks in a row.
He's like, nah, I don't need him. What do you mean you don't need him? I don't need him. I don't need him.
Oh my God. At least trade him for Justin Jefferson or something.
My team, spot started Jordan Love. I picked him up. Jackson Dart out. Gave me 28 points. Very solid. Berkey Irvin continues his little streak since he's been healthy now. 21 points, really solid. This is where the team kind of falls apart. Rashee Rice, 4 for 34. He was getting absolutely hammered against Houston. Houston was beating him up. I started Strange this week. Strange didn't do anything.
Rice has no middle ground. He either has 25 points or 5.
He's
like Vidal in a way.
That Kansas City offense is broken. They don't know what it wants to do. Mbuka, 2 for 15. He has the yips. My man, he's just balls hitting his hands. He's just dropping them. That's all I can say. He has the yips right now. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm not in the playoffs because I'd be really angry if my quarterback had the yips going into the playoffs. Um, the Commanders, I leaned in on the Commanders against Minnesota this week, and I failed to a two and just 8 fantasy points, and my kicker got me 18. So that's how that one worked. Um, Beyond
We,
that,
we got the rare double zeros from defenses.
it's a very rare double zeros. You don't see that often. It was announced this week that Trey Benson is like out for the year. He's not coming back from his IR stint. So that's just in retrospect, my top 3 running backs are drafted this year: Bucky Irving, Connor, Benson. Bucky hurt half the year, pretty much the year. Connor gets hurt. Ready had Benson. Benson played 1 game and then got hurt. That is my fantasy year.
What a shitty guy to wait for, too. For like 2.5 months, you wait for Trey Benson to come back, and it's just like, nah.
Nah, I'm not gonna come back. What?
There's somebody going to the playoffs right now there's somebody going into the playoffs right now that's been gritting their teeth waiting to get Trey Benson back just to find out it's not happening.
It's not happening. You know what I mean? So it's like, that is the Cardinals saying, we're going to get rid of you two, Benson. We're going to roll Bam Knight. That is tough. Real tough. So, yeah, it was an easy win for Heater there. 136.95 against Buck. What you think?
Yep, no playoffs, though, for him. He had one of the great chokes of the season this year. If it weren't for Brindle, though, blowing the playoff bye in the final week of the season. This was the main event. We got number 1 versus number 2. The fantasy schedule gods came through. They gave us a winner-take-all scenario for the number 1 seed. Both teams came into this with a combined 7-game winning streak, separated by 1 game and just 2 points in the standings. Lionheart and Jordan and Heater were all tied for first place as far back as week 4. Brindle and Jordan were tied for first until week 7 when Lionheart took sole possession with a 6-1 record. He held steady all the way until this week. Jordan hung around, and he could thank Jalen Hurts for this because Jalen Hurts had a Fieldian performance to counteract Patrick Mahomes' Fieldian performances. 4 interceptions cost Brindle the number 1 playoff seed.
That, man, let me tell you something. There's major questions. If he didn't win the Super Bowl last year, there'd been major questions about Jaden Hurts. It'd have been major questions. 4 interceptions, and the offense is broken. I mean, the idea that both these quarterbacks combined points is 12. It's crazy, okay? That's crazy.
The 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks from last year combined for 12 points.
Crazy. Like, it's almost embarrassing to use Fieldzian now because, like, it's not even Fieldzian now. This is just NFL football now. It's not like a one-off now. We're seeing so many of this now. We're like, you know what? Yeah. We need to come up with a new word for, like, shitty quarterback play.
Well, what's astonishing about this one is guys with this caliber. Hurts was drafted 35th overall. Mahomes was drafted 48th overall in a winner-take-all game and then combined for 12 points. Like, this game was up for the taking here. Brindle got 25 points from his fantasy special teams. He took a 0 from the defense. So if he had played the Lions defense and not taken a 0 from Romeo Doubs in his wide receiver 2 slot, he had no Christian McCaffrey in a bye week. That's tough stuff.
Yeah. Again, what I said before, these bye weeks after Thanksgiving are garbage. And for this to happen to him is just that I feel for him, man, because that's he's where you need your best player to come through right now to help you, and he wasn't available. You had to rely on Pacheco, who has been a Pachoco. So,
good news for him. Judy found the end zone.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, man, there's life at Jerry Jeudy. Who would have thought it? And you know what? Actually, surprising is the kicker. The Lions kicker Bates has been on a absolute tear of late. Because he's been like going 6-12, 4-12, 6-15. Like he's been scoring points. And it's rare because the Lions don't go for field goals.
His wide receiver room is a bit of a mess going into the playoffs. You got Marvin Harrison missing last week. Quentin Johnson is another unusable Chargers receiver. Like Jerry Jeudy might be his wide receiver 2 behind J-Mo in the playoffs next week.
Yeah, I mean, that would have to be it there. And JMO could give you a 0 easy. The fall off Quentin Johnson needs to be studied because you're talking about a guy who was absolute lighting the world on fire. And then out of nowhere, week 8 happened. And then he hit 15 points. And then after that, it's been bad. 0 points, 3. Like, it's been bad. His targets, he's averaging maybe 3 targets a game.
34th ranked receiver. Yeah, he was like top 5 receiver for the early part of the season.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, McConkey, and Johnson. What happened?
Herbert, what happened there? And then Jordan, A-Chain carried this win for him. A-Chain was going off. A-Chain is just a man possessed this year running the ball. 19 points. Jay Warren for the Steelers had 13 yards rushing. But he caught a pass. He had 16 points. Puka Nacua went off. 7 for 167 and 2 touchdowns. He's my player of the week.
He's my player of the week too.
It's just, he was the difference maker right there. 35 points. He made up for Devontae Smith for 437, or Tyler Warren, who's been pretty solid, but only had 2 catches for 15 yards. So he carried a lot there.
If there's one guy that might benefit from this Phillip Rivers situation, it might be Tyler Warren. Remember what he did for Antonio Gates?
Oh yes, that's the long-term vision there. That's the best case scenario you get. That Phillip Rivers says, I'm going to dump short passes, and Tyler Warren is going to eat all of that up. And Pierce. I think Pierce would be a big guy that's going to get a lot of targets too, because they're going to try to lock down Pittman and everything else, and Pierce runs the slot. So that'd be interesting to play there.
We called Jordan out for his bench. Like we said, shore up your bench. You got Kamara eating a spot, Ayuk eating a spot, you got Joe Mixon eating a spot. You should have grabbed Jalen Wright, who went off against the Jets as Achane's handcuff. He's lucky he has the playoff bye week next week, but like this bench is inexcusable for a number 1 playoff seed going into the postseason.
Very much so. Ayuk and Joe Mixon shouldn't be rostered right now. They shouldn't be rostered. They're not playing this year. I don't understand.
The 49ers don't even want Ayuk. Why does the fantasy manager want Ayuk?
Right. They don't want him. They're not going to start him this year. They plan on getting rid of him. Joe Mixon, he already said he's not playing this year. They already said we're going to keep him shut down. So I was like, what's the problem here? I don't know. I don't know. He's your friend.
I get being cautious with Kamara, but you could throw him in the IR spot. So like, there's no excuse. There's just no excuse.
Exactly. He's really tough.
Well, we'll see if it costs them. We go to the final standings. Jordan 11-3. He finished with 886 points. That was 6th of the season, but he had the least points against with only 16-15. That's not a coincidence.
That's crazy.
Lionheart finished 2nd. Yep, Lionheart finished 12th in points against with 1737. Brandon, the 4th seed, finished 13th in points against with 722. Smashhawk 11th. Like, the teams that made the playoffs also had the best luck in terms of their opponents scoring against each week.
Yeah, unless you're Rob, I mean, he scored 2,000 points, so he's the only one to hit 2,000. So he just outscored everybody.
DeMoss missed the playoffs. He was the 2nd highest point scorer this season. That is brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. But he had second most points scored against him at 1928. That's tough. That's the luck of the draw. Where Art is in last place and he's had 2,000 points scored on him. He's only scored 16. So
yeah, the poor guy didn't stand a chance.
Just getting this mollywopped every week.
Poor guy. Yeah, Spawn wins the season high points, high fives. basically Jordan number 1 and Lionheart, they both finished 11-3. Punishers 9-5. Brandon 8-6. Then we have 4 7-7 teams. 3 of them made the playoffs. We have 1 6-8 team who happened to score the second most points of the season, and then 10 through 14 we're all just 5-9. Really nothing interesting in the points there.
Yeah.
Other than DeMoss's high and Art's points against.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, let's go to the Wingstop playoff bracket. We're going to make some predictions. Jordan gets the bye. We already established that. And then we got our 2 versus 7 seed, Lionheart versus New Day.
So right now, looking at this, the matchups here, you got Lionheart here, got Hurts against Las Vegas, McCaffrey against Tennessee. That's too hot. Like, those are perfect matchups right there. Montgomery, who's been kind of in the doghouse of late, and Marvin Harrison Jr. against Houston, which is a tough matchup if he plays, and JMO, Brock Bowers against Philly, Stevenson against Buffalo. I don't know.
Yeah, so what I see here is I see McCaffrey as like the big dog in this matchup, but Slade is able to counter that with a 1-2 punch of Chase Brown and Kyron Williams. The only gigantic hole I see on Slade's team is that flex spot with Burden in it, and I don't really see any good options on his bench. Maybe Pierce, who you mentioned, with like a Phillip Rivers boost, but
Yeah.
I see holes in Brindle's lineup with Montgomery, Marvin Harrison, Ramondre Stevenson. He has had good fantasy special teams most of this season. I'm leaning upset, I think. I think I'm taking Slade here.
The upset for Slade is definitely in the stars because Chase Brown, I trust his running back room. I trust Dak Prescott. C Lamb comes back healthy. I trust him because Pickens played so bad last game that Dak Prescott loves CD and he'll keep throwing the ball to CD. I don't trust Kyle Pitts Sr. or Burden the third. I just don't trust those people.
I think I've seen enough from Pitts with Cousins a quarterback. But yeah, my pick is contingent on CD Lamb playing. CD Lamb plays, give me Slade. CD Lamb no play, give me Lionheart.
Yeah, CD Lamb no play is guaranteed a Brindle win. That's I could just book that. I just don't trust, like you said, Montgomery, Harrison Jr., and JMO. I do not trust these people, especially JMO against the Rams. Oh no, it could be a 0. He will drop a goose egg on your playoff team, and it'll be terrible. But I trust Brindle to get past this round at least.
Okay, so I got Slade, you got Lionheart. Yeah, I don't know. If Brindle's gonna win, it's gonna be because of Ohtani.
No.
Next up, 3 versus 6, Punishers versus Smash Hawk. This is a classic matchup between 2 perennial playoff teams.
Okay. Yeah. So Smash Hawk here, who has the winning pedigree here, unfortunately is on upset alert here. Going to get knocked out this round. Punisher's team is rolling. Everything's lined up for him well. One thing I'm concerned about is Jordan Mason, really. Everybody else, I'm feeling pretty good about. I just don't trust Brock Purdy. It's hard to trust him. Bijan Robinson, he plays Thursday night. If he doesn't have a good game, that team's not going anywhere. Michael Wilson and Trey McBride will try to carry this team enough, but I don't see it. I see Smash Hawk getting knocked out.
I agree. The first thing that jumps out to me is Stafford versus Purdy. Stafford in a revenge game against the Lions. I still trust Derrick Henry. I know he's, a little not as stable as he has been in the past, but I would still bet on him. His hugest hole here is that RB2 situation. Receiver room looks okay. Parkinson versus Hunter Henry, that's a toss-up at tight end. But Smash Hawk, I don't want to call him lucky because, he's he's done this for a couple years now. He won a championship like 2 years. But he is very good at plugging holes. He did it with Neal. He even did it like with McMillan going into the season. Michael Wilson, Monogany has been coming up big for him week after week. Like Blake Corum had 29 points on his bench last week. It wouldn't be a stunner to see him get plugged into Smash Hawks lineup and go off.
Yeah, sure.
I'm leaning Punishers here, but this game is the pushiest of pushes of the playoff bracket, I think.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just got Tampa Bay winning this. I'm gonna sit on Tampa Bay winning this match here against Smash Hawk. This is not his year.
That number one ranked Seahawks defense looks good against the Colts. Like with Phillip Rivers coming off the street, if he happens to start,
they might sit Phil Rivers this weekend and probably start him next weekend. We don't know.
Right, but either way, like you're betting on the Seahawks defense in that situation,
right? Or with Jacksonville with the Jets.
All right, so far I got Slade if CeeDee Lamb plays. You got Lionheart. We both went Punishers here. To the last one, we got Spawn versus Mile High Salute 3 versus 4. Rob is way better than his 7-7 record. That's evident by his number one season high points total.
Yes, very much so.
Brandon rubbed a magic bottle and got Joe Burrow out of it. He's always had this strong running game with Barkley and Cook. He's now added RJ Harvey to that mix. His receiver room is looking dicey, though.
Yep, so that's where we see, right? So you see he has Kevin Boot there over Addison, which I would trust that more. But I'm gonna Spawn on this. His receiving room, I trust his receiving room. Jacob Myers has been a absolute touchdown demon since showing up to Jacksonville. All of a sudden, it's been 3 straight weeks of at least finding in the end zone. So that's at least 10 points right there. Smith-Njigba against the Colts with their banged up secondary works. Fannin Jr. against Chicago looks good to me. Christian Watts is the only matchup I don't like. And with Jacobs as well, but Jacobs going to eat no matter what. It's just what it is. He's going to eat.
Yeah, Brandon's best pass catcher, if Higgins doesn't play, is Dalton Kincaid, who led the Bills with 5 touchdowns this season. That is not inspiring. While Rob has a bunch of guys with noses for the end zone, and Jacobs, Javonte Williams, Smith-Njigba, Jacoby Myers, Harold Fannin, Christian Watson. Even though you don't like him, he has a bunch of touchdowns this season. He has 5 since returning from the injury, and those are in 3 of the last 4 games if you really want to crunch it down.
Yeah, I don't like Christian Watson. That's all. It's this matchup.
Okay, yeah, Drake May matches up good against Burrow. Drake May is the 5th ranked quarterback this year. I don't think anybody saw that coming into the season. Where did he draft Drake May? He drafted Drake May 126th.
Yeah, he snaked me. I wanted Drake May, and he actually drafted him for me.
Man, this one's tough. I'm going to say, with no Higgins, give me Spawn.
Yeah, like I said, I'm leaning on Spawn on this right now. His team is built a little more for playoffs right now. With Higgins, like you said, that concussion protocol is really sketchy. So, I don't know.
I'm going to write down our picks and then plug them into next week's notes. You got the Hall of Famer this week. Did you come prepared?
Yes, I came prepared. So my Fantasy Hall of Famer this week, I'm going for a feel-good one this week. My Fantasy Hall of Famer was drafted in 1998, 3rd round, 92nd pick overall. Okay, he's a wide receiver, and he played his entire career with Pittsburgh Steelers. If you know who he is, you already know who he is. Pretty easy. Mr. Smiling Hines Ward. Never was one of them guys that was like super high scoring, right? But he ended his career with 1,000 receptions. He had 12,000 yards receiving and 85 touchdowns. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. We all know that. Super Bowl MVP, 3-time second team All-Pro from 2002 2004, and he's a 4-time Pro Bowler between 2001 and 2004. He has a bunch of Pittsburgh Steelers accolades, and right now he's currently Arizona State wide receiver coach right now. So he's out there still doing the thing. But his stretch when he was a Pro Bowler from 2004 2002, he had 112 catches and 1,300 yards receiving and 12 touchdowns. So that one kind of stuck out. I was like, man, Hines Ward between those 3 years was on a crazy tear, and that was before Big Ben. So they were kind of in the woods with quarterbacks. They didn't know who their quarterback was. Do you remember who their quarterback was before Big Ben?
Yeah, it would have been Cordell and Tommy Maddox. So I've been biting my tongue since you said Hines Ward. I lived there when Hines Ward joined the Steelers, and so I'm watching the Steelers every week, and I was in on Hines Ward very early. You see, his first couple of years were a little bit underwhelming numbers wise, but I remember saying to my friend, I really like this Hines Ward guy. I would have never predicted the Hall of Fame career he went on to have, but like I distinctly remember being like, I like this dude. He plays hard. Like he doesn't realize like he's not supposed to be out there, like just blocking downfield and stuff. Yeah, he's a great receiver, first down machine.
He was a first down machine. He was never the deep threat, but he get plenty of catches. Does all the hard, gritty stuff, like you said, blocking. He was a intense blocker because he's kind of a big wide receiver. He's kind of a big guy. In 2003, he had 95 catches with 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. 2004, he had 80 catches, 1,000 yards receiving, and only 4 touchdowns, kind of a little bit dip. But he came back alive the following season after, less than 1,000 yards receiving, but had 11 touchdowns. And then from then on, he's averaged about 6 or 7 touchdowns a year, and he always floated a little bit under 1,000 to maybe 1,000 every year when Pittsburgh was rolling along with Big Ben and their Pittsburgh defense that they had. So, yeah, man, tip the hat to Hines Ward, man. He played the game the right way, and he's still out there coaching, playing the game the right way. So, good tip the hat to him.
Yeah, he was a head coach in the XFL. He did you mention he was a quarterback in college? That's wild.
Yeah, I didn't mention that.
The Steelers were drafting quarterbacks back then. They took Cordell, tried to move him to receiver. They took Hines Ward. They took Randall L., who played quarterback at Indiana. The Hines Ward, what was cool about him is he would knock you on your ass and then smile in your face when you got back up. I'm sure that got under opponent's skin.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, he was a pest. I mean, he's from South Korea. You don't see too many guys born in South Korea playing the NFL, so that's cool.
As big as he is, he was a big dude.
One of my favorite players of all time. Like, I love Hines Ward. They had to peel the uniform off him, too. The Steelers had to be like, dude, you can't play anymore. And then he had a decision to make. He decided to be a Steeler for life. I thought at the time it would have been interesting to see him join the Ravens. Thank God that didn't happen, but it would have been one of those fun, sad seasons.
It would have tarnished his whole thing. It would have been bad.
I think the NFL, more than any other sport, it's almost a bigger deal to play with one team your entire career because your career's typically shorter. And those years when the team tells you you're done, very rarely does it work out when you go somewhere else. Like, look at Cooper Kupp with the Seahawks now.
True.
I mean, go make your money, but don't expect to maintain the level you were playing at before.
I mean, it's interesting. I think it's harder now. I think the NBA is harder now because the NBA, your career lasts long. It's like twice as long, and usually your first team is not going to keep you. Usually they'll get rid of you. They'll throw you in a trade that you don't ask for. You're like, yeah, we're throwing you in this trade. You're like, dang, I was actually pretty decent. Like, now you just become a journeyman. You're Gallinari, just like bounce around places when you shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's because they have the 4-year contract term limit that they can give out. So that just leads to guys bouncing around like crazy. Where like Kevin Durant's on like his 15th team. Like how is this Hall of Famer on it? Yeah. I hate Kevin Durant, but like how is this Hall of Famer on his 15th team?
Right, now he's on Houston and he's like, yeah, I want to retire here. Like they have to like make it well known, like I don't want to leave. Please don't send me nowhere else, please. Or Chris Paul getting let go at the beginning of the season, like, getting let go now.
Yeah, another one. Great example. Chris
Get
Paul.
rid of a guy who his head coach is the guy that he used to play against, Ty Lue. So it's like, yeah, you serious?
But yeah, these faces of the league. Like, look at LeBron. LeBron has been on, I guess, 3 different franchises, but before, if you count returning to Cleveland, this doesn't happen in other sports like it does the NBA. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Some playoff results. We don't have to spend any more time with these loser teams to get out of here. Just front and center stage for Brindle, Smash Hawk, Punishers. Who am I forgetting? Spawn,
Yeah.
Slade. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, good luck, guys.